Alright, so a few years ago I was taking a shit and it hit me. We find soul gems in Dwemer Animunculi. What if those soul gems hold Dwemer souls, and that's the conscience behind the Animunculi? That's why the robots still defend the halls of their fallen cities, because in actuality, it's trapped Dwemer. But why would a Dwemer trap his soul in a soul gem? Well, before I answer that question, you must first learn some lore behind our mysterious friends.
The Dwemer, the most mysterious race to ever roam Tamriel. Their cities were off limits to everyone. They barely went to the surface, let alone contact the other races. Despite the isolation, the Dwemer were the most powerful and advanced race during their time. While the other races were stuck with bows, the Dwemer had already built robots called the Animunculi that do their bidding without a question. They had an impressive array of underground cities that would take decades to build for the other races, but not them. One day, they all just disappeared.
If you want to listen to the whole entire story, then go check out Mr. Rex. He has an amazing lore video, but long story short,
they decided to build an Animunculi that would be powered by Lorcan's heart, which they found in the Red Mountain. It was called the Brass Tower, or the Numidium, who would be as powerful as a god when completed. But they couldn't touch the heart as it was too powerful, so they created artifacts to lift the heart. Unfortunately, at the time, they were in a war with the Chimers, so the Dwemer were rushed, and Kagranak, their scientist, had to use the unfinished artifacts. And the second he touched the heart,
poof! Every single Dwemer disappeared. Yeah, just like that. Well, except one who was in oblivion when all that happened. But I'll get to that later. This theory does not correlate with lore whatsoever, and makes about 0 sense, but still an interesting concept, so here I am, sharing it with you. Now that you somewhat know the lore, here's my theory. In most Animunculi, you find soul gems. In Dwemer spiders, you find common and lesser gems. In spheres, it's greater soul gems, and in centurions, it's grand soul gems. Most people seem to think that it's to give the Animunculi a very basic conscience. That gives the Animunculi the ability to think, but isn't smart enough to rebel. But I actually think it's way more exciting than that. Well, what if those soul gems actually house Dwemer souls, and they are the ones who control the Animunculi? Okay, I know that sounds pretty stupid, but just let me evaluate. The first question you probably have is, why would a dwarf want to spend eternity in a metal body? I got a few answers to that one. As I said, the Dwemer were pressured by war, and at the same time their former slaves rebelled, putting them in a really bad position. It only makes sense that some of the dwarves wanted to evade death, and one way of evading death is to become a self-sustained machine. That way the dwarves can live forever in their cities long after the rest of their kin is extinct. Some of the civilians that realized they were screwed transferred their souls into soul gems and became dwarven spiders, spheres, etc. That's why you find soul gems in some of the Animunculi. Another reason is to become the ultimate war machine. As I mentioned, the Animunculi are smart enough to follow orders, and that's about it. A dwarf sphere can't learn advanced fighting techniques, so a warrior that is patriotic and shit can sacrifice himself and be infused into the Animunculi to become the ultimate warrior. He no longer needs food, water, or sleep. He is the armor, and now he possesses incredible skill in combat. But why would some dwarves become dwarven spiders and not centurions, for example? The answer to that is the social ladder. Every civilization have the poor and the rich, and of course transferring your soul into a soul gem costs some money or whatever the currency the dwarves used. So the ones that couldn't afford a grand soul gem had to purchase a cheaper gem, and a cheaper gem couldn't run a centurion, so that's why some resolved to Dwemer spiders and centurions. And I'm sure the Animunculi weren't free either. It's kind of like purchasing a car. The faster the car, the more it costs. You might also be wondering, why would some dwarves trap their souls in soul gems if they believed that they would become gods? As I said, the Dwemer were pressured from both sides, the Chimer from one and the Falmer from the other. So those who lost faith became the Animunculi, and those who still had some hope continued fighting until they all, well, disappeared. Their disappearance is unexplained, but I do have a theory on how the Elder Scrolls 6 can give us an answer to that. To find out, check out my Test 6 theory video right now on the screen, and there is a link in the description below. What? I had to self-advertise at some point. And the last question I can answer is, what happens to the souls in the soul gems? Dwarven magic was very powerful, so I'm sure they found a way to become one with the Animunculi. In the lore, it says that all Dwemer disappeared. Wouldn't the souls in the gems disappear as well, since they are still Dwemer souls? The answer to that is no. What are you, stupid? First of all, a soul is not Dwemer. The body is. And secondly, the soul is in another plane of oblivion. And when an entity is in another plane of oblivion, it cannot be affected from another plane. Just bear with me. An example is the dwarf that we saw in Test 3 Morrowind. After all the dwarves were supposed to disappear, one stayed. And the reason he was unaffected is, well, you guessed it. He was in another plane of oblivion. Most likely the souls and the gems are either in the Soul Cairn, or the Dwemer created a separate plane of oblivion where the dwarves spend eternity in paradise. And this concludes the video. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, then consider subscribing. Have a great day or night, and as always, I'll see you next video.